Good morning, friends. It's about a week away from Thanksgiving here in the Rocky Mountains of Colorado, which means it's time to get your pie making mojo on, which means you need a pie crust for all that wonderful pumpkin, mince, pecan, French silk pie that you're going to be making in the coming week. So I'm here to help you with the world's fastest, easiest pie crust. Don't run to the grocery store and buy a frozen pie crust for $4.95 or something crazy like that. We're going to make one in about 5 minutes, and all in the most expensive part of this cooking event is 1 stick of butter, which I admit at the current price of butter, which seems to be going up every week, it's probably close to $1, $1.25 a stick. However, that is certainly a lot less expensive than $2.50 for a frozen pie crust, which will not, I promise you, will not taste as delightful as yours will. And also you're going to really impress your friends. So take a sip of your coffee. Very good. This is, I believe it's an Italian roast. Starbucks. On sale for $4.99 a pound, which I know is outrageous. Every time that sale comes to the store, I buy 10 pounds. All right, but I digress. So quickly, this is really, this is the world's largest flour container, but that's because, as you know, I go through a lot of flour. So I don't know where my 1 cup measure is at the moment. It's probably in the dishwasher, so I'm using a half cup. So 1 full cup, or 2 little half cups if you're counting, of flour. And that's just your good old-fashioned regular flour. And you could keep, 100% regular AP all-purpose flour. And add 1 1/4 cups. I'm going to add 1/4 cup of whole wheat flour. And the reason for that is the pie that I'm going to be making with this particular crust is actually a quiche. And so it has, I don't mind having that little bit of savory texture that the whole wheat would add. If you want, just stick with 100% AP flour, not a problem. Then I'm going to add half a teaspoon. Yes, I do look over the edge of my glasses because I am an old person and therefore certifiably blind or soon to be, right? I was going to buy progressive lenses, but then they told me that there's some kind of weird shape to the viewing area of the lens, and I thought, that doesn't sound like something I need. I get car sick if I sit in the driver's side of the car, so we don't need anything that's going to make me any dizzier than I am already. Nutmeg. Why nutmeg, Suzanne? Why not, I say. And actually, there's a very good reason for it. As I said, I'm making quiche Lorraine. And the warmth, the spice of nutmeg, goodness, I wish I was better at describing. It's just warmth. That's the best way to describe it. Nutmeg is warmth. That is going to go beautifully with my Gruyere cheese that goes into the quiche Lorraine, and as well as the bacon and eggs. It's just going to be fantastic. So I don't mind adding a scraping of nutmeg here. If I was making a pumpkin pie, for instance, nutmeg in the crust would again be absolutely 100% appropriate. Or if you don't like nutmeg as much as I do, a scraping of cinnamon. But since I don't like cinnamon, I'm not putting it in there. Let's see, what else? Okay, so we've got flour, salt. If you were making, again, if you were making a sweet pie, then I would say put in half a teaspoon or a teaspoon of sugar. Generally, I almost always reduce the amount of sugar that any recipe calls for, simply because we have way too much sugar in our diets. All right, enough proselytizing. I'm now going to go get the most important ingredient, butter. I have butter, which I have chilling in the refrigerator, and I've cut it into, as you can see, little pieces, cute little pieces. They are, and it's just 1 stick of butter, 8 tablespoons, cut into little pieces. And you know, you may be wondering, Suzanne, why are you using a food processor? Which now I'm looking for the top of the food processor. Oh, here it is. Why are you using a food processor instead of, you know, one of those little hand pastry cutters? Well, frankly, because I've tried using those pastry cutters with, you know, cutting the cold butter. It drives me insane. This, look at that. Whoops! Just a few quick pulses to get the butter chopped up and incorporated into the flour. And then just a tablespoon or so of water. And this is where you want to be very careful. You don't want to go overboard with the water. What you want is for this just to add just enough water to help the flour and butter to incorporate so that you can form a ball with it. And then as soon as that happens, see, we're almost there. We're almost there. And as soon as that happens, then I'm going to do something else that's really sacrilegious. Because most recipes tell you to let the dough rest, to put it in the refrigerator for 30 minutes and let it rest so that the butter can chill again. See, look at it. Ta-da! So 4 tablespoons, and we have this gorgeous lump of dough. And so, as I said, most recipes, my darling Coco hears something and she's getting very excited. Most recipes at this point would tell you to wrap this in plastic wrap and put it in the refrigerator for 30 minutes. I do not do that for one particular reason, and that is I've tried that a couple times. And what inevitably happens is that when it comes time to roll out the dough, I can't get the darn thing to roll out. It's like a frozen lump, and I can't, it drives me insane. So this is a much easier method. Now, just hold on, I've got to get my rolling pin. Once again, I'm crossing the room, not the Rubicon. So don't, as long as you can hear my voice, all is still good. So what I'm going to do here, and I am not an expert at rolling out, and in fact, you know what I bet would be really easier to do? Hold on, I've got another great idea. And one reason why I'm always leaving the camera when I'm talking to you is because a lot of times ideas just come to me as I'm doing something. And so, which I'm sure happens to everybody. So I've just put this, as you can see, I've got these wonderful, and they sell these at the grocery store. They're sheets of parchment paper. And I love them because they're so darn convenient. They're just like a big old box of Kleenex. So here's my idea. The reason that what I just thought of was I thought, oh, it's going to be so embarrassing if I can't pick up the pie crust, you know, on this video. And everybody's going to say, Suzanne, what the heck are you doing? Well, and then I thought, here's a great idea. Why not just put a piece of parchment paper underneath the pie that you're rolling out, and then just flip it over into the pie plate, which is right here. So, and we don't have to grease this because there's, as you know, so much butter in the pie crust, an entire stick, that, in fact, you know what I'm going to do that's going to be even easier? That you don't need to butter. So look, I put the pie face down, got my paper, ta-da! And then we just slide this in here, and voila. Now this pie crust, once it's in here, and see how easy that was? I mean, we're at the 10-minute mark, and even with my usual needless running around the kitchen like a chicken, we've got our own homemade pie crust, which, again, I promise you, your friends and family will appreciate this 10 times more than any frozen pie crust that you buy in the grocery store. Okay? Now, again, this was just for a bottom of a pie crust. If you needed the top, then just double everything. All right? So there you go. And I'm going to put this, probably, I think I'll cover it with some plastic wrap so it doesn't dry out. And then put this in the refrigerator for 30 minutes, again, to let the dough rest and the butter to solidify again. And while it's doing that, I'm going to prepare the rest of the ingredients for my quiche Lorraine. But at this point, what you would do, let it rest for 30 minutes in the refrigerator, and you could prepare the rest of the ingredients for your favorite pie. My favorite pie is, and the one that I'm really the most famous for at Thanksgiving, is a chocolate bourbon pecan pie. So if you watch this video, please take a moment and tell me what your favorite pie is in the comments, and maybe I'll make one in one of my future videos. I know I will be making one, an example of my chocolate bourbon pecan pie for you this week. All right? There you go. Easy peasy pie crust in a food processor. No need to get out your grandmother's pastry cutter. No need to go to the grocery store and search the frozen food aisle for a frozen pie crust that has been in that state for a millennium. Make it at home. Make it your own. It'll taste 100% better, and you will, as always, be the star of your kitchen. See you again at Suzanne Elizabeth's Kitchen, and I thank you for joining me today. Bye!